It's September 2016. People were so caught up playing with fidget spinners, no one could have predicted that the world's most influential app was about to be released. This was the year you spent most of your time on Instagram, scrolling through weird memes that don't necessarily hold up for today's standards.
I have crippling depression.
Don't let your kids watch it!
This was a time when the future of social media was unknown, a fork in the road per se. A 2016 study from Cambridge University concluded that it was possible that meaningful interactions online could empower people with severe mental health issues, with the caveat that there may be potential risks that come along with these interactions. Fast forward 4 years, COVID-19 spreading like a plague game on easy mode. The stock market crashes, there's lockdown after lockdown. With the whole world, companies, schools, and your life seeming to collapse before you, there was something you were missing. Human interaction. You were tired, stressed, bored, and potentially suffering from mental health issues. Despite the climate the rest of the world was in, there was one thing that could distract you from everything else. TikTok. The hottest, seemingly harmless new social media platform became a sensation during the pandemic. TikTok opened the door for connection with your friends, connection with your peers, and connection to the world, something everyone was missing at the time. It's now 2020. Let's look into how TikTok connects you to the world. The pandemic started. You don't know to what extent you're going to be out of school, but you're stuck in your room all day, haven't seen your friends in weeks, and you're watching TikTok to pass the time. It's been an easy way for you to stay entertained and communicate with people without needing to see them in person. 1 year later, it's early 2021 and you've been dealing with online school for the past year. You're a lot more stressed because, let's be honest, the school system was not prepared for this type of thing. Statistically, your mental health is taking a downturn as well because being stuck inside all day is not good for you in the long term. You've been so disconnected from your peers, but TikTok shows you what people your age are interested in, creates trends to keep yourself engaged, and shows you how people your age are acting.
Ooh. Say ooh.
I believe that the demand for TikTok spiked when people needed human interaction the most. It's apparent that COVID-19 created a niche of boredom and lack of social interaction that TikTok could fill. It also acted as a band-aid for the emerging mental health crisis. I believe these reasons caused its exponential growth during the pandemic. It's late 2021. On top of just entertainment, TikTok has been delivering you crucial news on the extreme politically charged events the past couple years. From protests, presidents on Twitter, and COVID-19. It's been your go-to source for keeping up to date with all the crazy stuff that's been happening. And now we're here. It's mid-2022, and TikTok is more popular than ever. Statistics show that its success has skyrocketed in the past couple years. It currently holds the #1 spot in the top apps right now in the iOS App Store. Now that we've come this far, let's pause, rewind, and go back to high school for a second. Gloomy, tile hallways, fire drills on the football field, and trying to be cool. I'm gonna give you a list of words. I want you to think about what you would associate them with. Ready? Social, addictive, relieving, highs and lows, destructive, and trendy. Got it? If you thought of drugs or vaping, then you were on the right track. I used to be one of those guys in the bathroom stalls, vaping on mango-flavored Juul pods, chatting with a bunch of strangers I called friends, and doing what everybody else was doing. I'm sure many of you can relate to this experience. Regardless if it was vaping or something else, I argue that fitting in with others is in our human nature. I think we rationalize our decisions based on what we see others doing and how we think they'll perceive us. Back in the day, it was honestly harder to find people who didn't vape than those who did. Sure, our reasonable explanation could be that vaping is super addictive. I think that's a part of it. But ultimately, I think it lies within the social norms of that environment. People who didn't vape were almost outcasts from everybody else. I don't know your backstory, or what your peers think is cool, but I'm sure all of you did something to fit in at some point in your life. Now you might be wondering, How does this relate to TikTok or the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, let's look back at my list. I would argue that all of those terms relate to TikTok as well. Let me explain. TikTok has become a world sensation. Everyone and their mom is using it, and that's not a joke. In 2022, TikTok is a walled garden where you're almost out of the loop if you don't have it. When I tell people I don't have TikTok anymore, I'll often get weird looks, and they'll ask, why? How can I blame them though? 1/8 of the world's population has it. I don't blame people who download it to fit in with their friends. Regardless if a large amount of our world's population uses the app on a regular basis, TikTok can still be addictive and harmful to you. A study found that TikTok was the most addictive app during the COVID-19 pandemic, overshadowing other very popular apps with similar interfaces. This is most likely due to the mental health crisis that was going on at the time. Another study found that over the course of their research in 2020, young adults used TikTok's algorithm to distract them from their life during the pandemic. They also concluded that mindless scrolling on Instagram induced boredom, while it induced pleasure on TikTok, further solidifying the addictive nature of the app. TikTok presented itself at the most opportune time, a time when the world was in a pandemic, a mental health crisis, and in need of connection. TikTok distracted us from our problems, gave us a quick boost of dopamine, helped ease the issues we were facing at the time, and is now a way for us to fit in with our friends. We used it as a crutch to get through the past couple of years. I believe that TikTok is now creating more problems instead of helping them like before. Many people often use social media as a news source. This can actually lead to political polarization. In the US, we already deal with so much divide. More will only harm us. If you have the app, I'm sure you've heard of the different sides of TikTok. I mean, just look at these clowns.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
These videos do little to have a constructive conversation about these hot button topics such as abortion, political movements, and our president. This girl is self-aware enough to know that her video will either piss people off or make them respect her, depending on their political views. This type of content is problematic because it stops civil conversations with others who have different opinions. It creates a false dichotomy. You either agree with all her points and respect her, or disagree with them and get triggered. She knows this, but still posts it. Oh, and the comments section is absolutely insane. Like, check this out. Mental health has been a common theme throughout this video so far. Although people initially installed TikTok to help them escape their mental health during the pandemic, I argue that it's causing you more harm than good at this point. For example, having body image issues is a common experience nowadays. Because of how close we feel to our content creators, and how many attractive people are famous on TikTok and social media, it can be very easy to feel insecure about the way you look. It also raises unrealistic expectations for the dating scene. Even more so, TikTok is packed with dancing videos like this one, that are sexy in nature. Children are watching these videos blow up with popularity and start dancing like that for views. It's concerning that there are so many popular TikTokers that are underage girls. If we go back to the study in 2016, social media's fork in the road, and ask if modern socials are empowering or hurting people with mental health issues, it's safe to say that it's causing damage. Stats show that 1/8 of our population is on TikTok. I know asking you to uninstall all social media is ridiculous. However, I want you to start small. I don't have TikTok, but I still limit my Instagram to 30 minutes a day. First, be mindful of how much time you spend on TikTok, then slowly get off of it. Set new goals for yourself. Learn something new. Go outside, or even spend time with friends and family now that some of the COVID restrictions are being lifted. I would recommend eventually uninstalling TikTok, but in the meantime, just focus on bettering yourself and regulating your social media usage. We've been using TikTok as a band-aid these past couple years, and sometimes, removing a band-aid hurts at first, but you have to let your wounds breathe.